Hi there and welcome. Nick Watson here. And today I wanted to talk what is Ayurveda? The answer to this is a huge array of various bits of information from like those really bookish, philosophical, historical videos that you're going to see to interpretations like I'm going to give you, which is my own take on Ayurveda. So I fell in love with Ayurveda in 2009. And I continue to be fascinated by the system of health management that comes from India. You may have heard the word from various sources. So there's different doors into the lobby. Perhaps your yoga teacher has mentioned Ayurveda. Perhaps you have been getting some kind of treatment at a wellness center and they've had massages that employ Vedic principles. Perhaps you've come through what I call the diet and food door. So maybe you've read a blog about health benefits of turmeric or how to decrease inflammation with foods. And then maybe you have been dipping your toe into Ayurveda along with other healthcare systems as a way to create an integrative healthcare program for yourself. In any case, it doesn't really matter which door you came in by. I want to give you something that is relatable today because I find that the other videos, when I Google myself, tend to be really heavy going. So, what is Ayurveda and how does it fit into modern 21st century Western life? If you dig right underneath it, like you get out the shovel and you go right deep down, the OG goal of Ayurveda is to help you connect to your spiritual guidance system. You'll know that yoga is in fact a spiritual system. And the idea that you didn't come into this world just with your own brain, but that you came in with a spirit and you have a spiritual guidance system, much like your car has a GPS. Unfortunately, because we humans are a little bit egotistical and a little bit stuck in our own heads, we often forget that we have this amazing spiritual body with us. And that spiritual body is connected to our physical body. It lives inside it. So it's all great, but it's like, well, how can I hear? How can I hear my path? How can I hear which way to go? How can I feel what's right for me? That requires intuition. That requires being able to sit still and listen. And unfortunately, for most of us in the West, that's really tricky. But it's getting better because many of us have found the ability to connect through meditation. We need to sit still, we need to be quiet, and we need to allow a channel that's within us to kind of open, like a telescope opens up, or an antenna, right? To kind of feel into our sixth sense, our premonitions, our intuitions, our genius, this place that helps us in human life. So many people want this. They're desperate to get answers that are not coming from their mind and they're not coming from other people telling them what to do. If you want to be able to have this connection, this antenna, you need to be able to sit in meditation. To be able to sit comfortably in meditation, you need to have a pretty strong and flexible body. Guess what? The practice of asana, of yoga, is all about getting you into that body so that you can sit. But then you may still have pains in your joints. You may still have inflammatory problems in the body. You may have autoimmune problems, right? Who wants to sit and do meditation if you have eczema on your hands? Who wants to sit and do meditation if your knee joint is throbbing? Who wants to sit and do meditation if you feel heavy in your digestive system and food feels like it's blocked? Who wants to sit and do meditation if you're consumed by an addiction that has your mind already going to how you're going to get your next fix? So the rishis, the yogis, the wise men, wise women, they all understood that in order for us to be able to meditate, connect, what we need to be doing in life, that's a personalized program, we need to not just have flexibility, but we also need to have a clean, healthy body. Now, you might want to reverse engineer this and say, okay, well, if I live according to the Ayurvedic principles of eating and sleeping and daily habits, does that mean that I need to meditate? No, it doesn't. But you will just by default start to become a little bit more psychic, a little bit more intuitive, a little bit more tuned into subtle body, subtle things, and feel different and experience the world differently. So, no, you do not need to meditate if you follow Ayurvedic lifestyle, but it certainly makes it easier and you will notice huge changes. Ayurveda is a system of health and it's based on principles of living. It's about a living system. That's really different than the Western doctors who train usually with cadavers. So they're pretty disconnected from the life force energy that is running through a living human being. You can imagine the difference between typical Western doctors, Western medicine's approach with the Ayurvedic approach as a comparison between a mechanic that is going to fix your car and an oil change station. The whole premise of Western medicine is to fix things that are broken. Like in a car, if your engine stops, you need to go to the mechanic because you don't know how to fix it, you don't have the parts. But that's really what I would call like a negative end of the line. What happens if we were to take care of the car so that we perhaps prolong any damage that gets done to the car? This is where Ayurveda is more like your oil stop, where you're taking a preventative measure. Now, of course, there's no guarantees. And I think this is a real sticking point for people because Ayurveda requires you to take responsibility. It requires you to really be in your body, listen to your body, and follow its guidance. And I think for many of us, we just want a one size fits all. Take this pill, do this thing. But we're so different. And Ayurveda recognizes this. It asks us to be experimental, it asks us to be curious, and it asks us to be engaged. Now, this is where people realize that it may take a little bit more effort to live, and there's no guarantees. But the same is true for something like saving money on the stock market. Many of us put monthly contributions into the stock market, assuming that our money will grow, but we never know. It could completely crash. Same thing, when we engage in an Ayurvedic lifestyle, we could be thinking, well, I've done so much effort, I've eaten so cleanly, and then we end up with a problem. And all I'm going to say is this: don't think like that. That's really Western fixed thinking. I want you to think of Ayurveda as a tool to help you get to know yourself better, to help you become more conscious and take better sovereignty of your body. Because this is where your spirit lives. It doesn't live down the street at someone else's house. It lives inside your body. And so your practice is around self-care. And that's a real buzzword these days, what self-care actually is. Ayurveda is pretty concise that it's living in alignment with your true nature. And it teaches you how to understand your true nature. So you get taught about who you are according to the five elements, what kind of body you got born into, and what, given that you're in this category of body, like what kind of things this kind of body likes and doesn't like. It teaches you how to recognize when you're out of balance, and it teaches you how to connect the body that you're in with your spirit so that you can live with health and live with happiness. And there are no guarantees either in the Western model. But personally speaking, I would prefer to be conscious. I would prefer to be really taking every day as a gift and navigating my sovereignty, participating in my own journey of well-being. If you have never tried any of the daily habits that are recommended by Ayurveda, then I suggest that you pop into the show notes, and in there you'll be able to download a PDF that you can stick on your fridge. I've called this the 10 touch points of joy. These are 10 daily habits that are suggested by Ayurveda to keep your body, like your car, in great shape and to keep your energy as high as possible. They're really just about living in alignment with nature, but many of us don't even know what that means, and we have to kind of re-evaluate and connect with the natural rhythms of the day. I've taken all of this knowledge and made it into an easy worksheet so that you can see how your life at the moment compares with an Ayurvedic lifestyle. And I would recommend maybe taking 10 days to go through and try these 10 daily habits. Notice how you feel. Notice if any of those small niggling issues that you have, perhaps with your digestion, perhaps with face rashes, perhaps with sore joints, notice if they start to ease off. Again, Ayurveda is all about being curious, experimenting, having a hypothesis about something, trying it out, and noticing consciousness. And if it's working, keep doing it, keep staying conscious. And that way, you are going to live really your best, fullest, and most connected life, not only to the nature around you, but to your own personal nature. And in my game, that is what Ayurveda is all about. So thank you for listening. Don't forget to pop down below and download your 10 touch points of joy. Have a go at living them and reach back out to me and let me know how you're feeling after 10 days. Be well, everybody.